It's a very important piece for us to help educate our clients, our prospective clients, and actually anyone out there about how their lives are going to change during the next 5 years. Here is the first one. Deep learning could create more economic value than the internet did. So I want to illustrate a few things here. The reason deep learning has happened is because we've taken the human programmer out of the equation. We've got data training machines, and we've got big data, iterative algorithms, supercomputing power. And the power has reached a point where now the machines are training themselves. Human beings cannot possibly conceive of all the possible permutations out there when they're trying to program, let's say, an autonomous vehicle. It's not possible. But machines can train themselves, and deep learning is the way to do that. What's interesting about deep learning is training costs, like for autonomous vehicles or autonomous taxi networks, or for Alexa, or for TikTok. Those training costs are dropping 37% per year. And the models, the artificial intelligence models built around deep learning, are growing tenfold per year. So the computing power that we're going to need in the years ahead is enormous. So we think that the market will scale to $30 trillion in opportunity in the AI space from $2 trillion now. That works out to a 17% CAGR, or compound annual rate of return. You look at the green part of the bars, that's the internet. And you can see it will increase from 13 trillion to 20 trillion, but AI is going to be taking over in terms of growth trajectories. In fact, by the time 2037, the internet will be very mature, and the growth rate from 13 trillion to 20 trillion over that 17-year period actually equates to only 3%. So the real growth is in deep learning, and it is the next big wave.
And we use it in different ways every day. In your watch, using probably AI with the crops. In a car that has AI that helps sense the other vehicles on the road around it. You sit down at your computer, you start to use your email. It's all filtered by AI.
It's the biggest revolution today. And it's on the order of the agricultural industrial revolution in the past.
Because it's software, this technology will be created. We have no escape from it now.
And where can we go? I mean, it's sort of unlimited.
Digital wallets, these are the new bank branches in our pockets or in our handbags. And we believe they're going to scale. They're in the process of scaling now. Here in the United States, it's Cash App and Venmo primarily. Of course, we've seen WeChat Pay, and Alipay scale in China. So we were a little more developed and had good financial rails, which China did not. So they led the charge into this space. Again, the coronavirus has turbocharged it. The reason this is happening is not just because we're dealing with contactless payment. So, we don't have to worry about the virus with digital wallets, whereas we do with credit cards and debit cards. I think they actually are more virulent in terms of spreading the virus than cash itself. So digital wallets have gotten a booster here. And their cost of customer acquisition is a fraction of that of traditional banks. $20 versus anywhere from $150 to $1,500. And the reason banks were willing to pay so much is their customers were so loyal. Well, we think that's about to change and that banks are in trouble. And we think that the valuation of these digital wallets is going to scale enormously during the next 5 to 10 years. So today, you can see here on this chart, Venmo and Cash App are valued in the marketplace at roughly between $250 and $700 per user. And we see that we believe if they capture the share of banking business, brokerage business, insurance, we see that they could scale to nearly $20,000 per customer. Now, what we've included in this big ideas that we did not last year was 10,000 of that, roughly, will come from e-commerce. If you study WeChat Pay, you'll see that half of the time spent on WeChat Pay is in payments and then half in e-commerce. So again, another big opportunity that we really hadn't taken into enough account last year when we did big ideas.
In China, people use mobile services owned by Alibaba and Tencent to do almost everything. They chat, shop, send money to each other, and even make purchases in physical stores. And the country is becoming cashless. A number of countries showing that payments can happen cheaply and easily without banks or credit cards. In contrast, US consumers still rely on banks for most of their purchases. Even mobile payments made through apps like Apple Pay, Uber, or Venmo are tied to users' cards or bank accounts. Whether or not you have access to a bank, being able to make and receive payments through your phone is an obvious advantage, as Alipay and WeChat Pay have demonstrated in China. For a typical $100 credit card purchase in the US, $97.25 goes to the merchant, and the rest is split between issuing banks, payment processors, the merchant's bank, and card networks. Those small slices add up to billions of dollars for banks every year.
Server processors will transform the next decade. Okay, Intel's x86 has dominated the data center. The servers in data centers, 92% of them have an Intel x86 processor. That is going to change dramatically. By the year 2030, we believe Intel's share of the data center will drop to 27%, 92% to 27%. Intel has really lost its way. And we do believe that ARM and RISC-V are going to displace Intel. They together will grow at a 45% annualized rate over the next 10 years.
Intel reports earnings today at a critical moment for the chip giant. A series of fumbles have left the company reeling, and a new CEO will take the reins in 4 weeks. The question is, can Intel return to its former glory? Intel was one tech company I didn't think would be subject to being displaced like we've seen so many other companies. I thought Intel always had the guts and the core and would always be there. Weird.
Well, yeah, Joe, but now Intel's done. Intel's toast. And the reason why, it just didn't change soon enough. I mean, the company has made a lot of money for a long time designing and manufacturing the brains of the personal computer. Its x86 architecture was the gold standard, but instead of evolving based on the company's real strengths, the brilliance of its engineers, and a vision of the future driven by a deep understanding of customers, Intel got stuck chasing too many fads and dedicating too little attention to what it does best, the combination of innovative chip design and precision manufacturing at scale. In the meantime, two companies that Intel used to beat all the time, NVIDIA and AMD, have been enjoying huge surges because they believed in the core value of what they do best, and they stuck with it.
Virtual worlds, this has been a long time evolving. You remember the Google glasses, premature. The technology was not ready and the costs were not low enough. And believe it or not, that is still the case. But we are beginning to see breakthroughs now that could really impact the gaming market first. So you can see here the gaming market, and this is the gaming market as you and I know it, which includes both the premium $60 games plus in-game purchases. You can see that we expect a 16% compound annual rate of growth during the next 5 years. Now you'll see that's coming much more from in-game purchases. So that world continues to transform. What's been really interesting about following the gaming sector over the last 25 years is that every time a new technology has evolved, the gaming sector has seen incremental growth. That is unlike video and music. With each new technology, they got hit. Gaming is the only area we've seen that has been able to migrate from one technology to another, and the space gets bigger. We believe this is about to happen once again with artificial reality and virtual reality. So we are looking at a 59% compound annual rate of growth. We do think the technology is almost there. We know that Facebook with Oculus has been seeing some good success. It's been sold out of its latest model. We believe COVID-19 helped to accelerate that, as it accelerated so much in innovation. And so pay attention to this space. It could be very exciting.
You might have wondered why people were strapping these contraptions to their faces. What are they, blindfolds? Scuba masks? Some kind of unpleasant eye exam? Nope, they're virtual reality headsets.
There's nothing quite like donning the headset yourself and truly experiencing these environments.
Alex Kipman heads up the HoloLens project for Microsoft. He compares today's HoloLens to a cell phone from 1985. But even this early model is wireless, weighs only a pound, and responds to hand and voice commands.
It's a very important piece for us to help educate our clients, our prospective clients, and actually anyone out there about how their lives are going to change during the next 5 years. Here is the first one. Deep learning could create more economic value than the internet did. Digital wallets, these are the new bank branches in our pockets or in our handbags. Server processors will transform the next decade. Virtual worlds, this has been a long time evolving.